Have you ever considered that a 2-hour delay of an international flight wasn't caused by weather or mechanical failure, but simply by a single, unspoken word, sorry? But it never came. And then, everything spiraled out of control. The event occurred in the early hours of April 22nd, 2026, AirAsia Flight D7809. Before takeoff, during the taxiing phase, a highly sensitive window for aviation safety, a female passenger was talking loudly on her phone continuously. A neighbor reminded her, "Could you please lower your voice?" If the story had stopped here, it would have been just a routine cabin communication, but it didn't stop. The first step was simple: the absence of the word sorry. This wasn't about manners. It was the failure of a conflict interruption mechanism. When recording began, the nature changed from public order to a threat of exposure. Her reaction wasn't restraint, but retaliation. Volume up, attitude harder. The conflict escalated truly from here. Then, the crew intervened. Theoretically a cool-down node, but things went the opposite way. She found a loophole. The crew communicated mainly in English. She performed a psychological pivot, turning her misconduct into their poor service. She began to criticize. Why no Chinese on international flights? Unprofessional crew. Poor service. The conflict was reconstructed, from personal behavior to service quality, and finally to identity and language. Next, the most viral part, claiming to be Southern Airlines crew and saying, "I'm China." Two defense mechanisms appeared. First, borrowed authority. She claimed to be a flight attendant to imply she knew the rules better, later proven false. Second, identity amplification. "I'm China" elevates personal conflict to collective identity, borrowing a grand narrative to suppress the other. But rules recognize neither emotion nor status. Reality is simple and cold. The crew followed safety protocols. The plane returned. Police intervened. She was removed. Delay ensued. No one wins through aggressive emotions. If she had apologized, this wouldn't have happened. But it wasn't just bad behavior, it was a structured escalation. A chain of failures rather than a single point of error. The chain is clear. 1. Rule defiance. 2. Face mechanism triggered. 3. Fear of recording. 4. Aggressive retaliation. 5. Blame shifting. 6. Weaponized identity. 7. Forced intervention. This is structural escalation, not one mistake, but a sequence. The real question: why do many believe, if I'm aggressive enough, I win? Because in daily life, it occasionally works, when others yield. A belief forms, power over reason. But aviation is an exception, rules over emotions. She chose the wrong battlefield. The biggest reversal, she thought she was in control. But each escalation narrowed her choices, from apologizing to confronting to being removed. This wasn't an emotional outburst. It was a sequence of poor decisions. A conflict that could have ended with sorry required police intervention, not because it was complex, but because at every step, the worst option was chosen. In public spaces, what protects you isn't volume or status. It's understanding the rules and knowing when to restrain yourself.